Well, hello there, fume heads. It's your bag and frag hag Trina here. Today I want to share with you a few of my favorite smellies that have sadly been put to death. Well, not literally killed off, of course, but they've been discontinued. Now, discontinuation is basically when a fragrance producer stops making a fragrance. This doesn't necessarily mean you can no longer purchase it, because retailers may have it stocked up years after D-Day, but it does signal that you might want to consider stocking up if you're in love with a particular scent. Discontinuation can happen for a number of reasons, and there may be more than one reason at play. So a first reason is simply that the fragrance doesn't sell. This might be a failure in marketing and not a failure in the perfume itself. Hard to say. Second, it might still sell, but not as much as more recent launches, and a company may decide that it's not worth devoting resources to its production. And third, it might include an exotic ingredient that's no longer available. In some cases, fragrances that sell well may be reformulated as a result, or they just might die. And fourth, it might include an ingredient that can no longer be used either for safety reasons or for ethical reasons. Ethical reasons are primarily concerned with ingredients that come from animals, but I suspect issues to do with labor might fall under this category too. Again, reformulations may result rather than the perfume going completely the way of the dodo. The fifth reason for a fragrance discontinuation has to do with licensing, copywriting, branding, and maybe the actual formula. Sometimes fragrances are produced under a contract with a limited time frame, and once that contract expires, so does the ability to keep producing the scent. I've become a lot better at dealing with the possibility of my favorite items being discontinued in general. I don't hoard multiple items for backups necessarily anymore, but I do like to have one item of overflow for things that I really use a lot of and that I really don't want to live without. So when it comes to cosmetics, what comes to mind for me is my MAC Odessa lipstick. It just works for my skin tone and I love it. It goes with everything. So yeah, gotta have a couple of these on hand, and I think my mother's just sent over a couple for Christmas this year, which is great because I was running out. And what else? I like to keep a stock of my BB cream. This is a Korean BB cream, not very expensive and not very hard to get here. But basically I want to have these as backups, not because I can't live without them, but if they do go out of fashion, or I don't know, just they become discontinued, then I want some time to find something to replace it. Hopefully that won't happen, but it does happen, doesn't it? Believe it or not, I also have backups of a certain model of jockey for her underwear, because I'm a Western woman living in Japan, and God help me if I run out of underwear and have to wait 2 months for it to arrive from the United States or Canada. Oh. Ask any Western woman, regardless of how big she is, she has the same issue. Although things are changing. I'm finding that there are actually plus size stores in Japan that I can shop at. I got this recently from a store. It's just a t-shirt, but it was impossible to do that a few years ago. So things are changing, thankfully, for the larger Japanese folk who live here too. Now, when it comes to perfume, I'm not as neurotic because there's so much good stuff out there that can feasibly replace things that I love. So my list today will be short. There is one fragrance that I had and will continue to hunt down because I can't find it since it was discontinued, and that is Bond No. 9 New Haarlem, launched in 2003. I went through 2 bottles of this stuff from perfumer Maurice Roussel and felt blindsided when I found out I could no longer find it anywhere. I reached out to the Bond No. 9 store a few months ago, and they said they were hoping to bring it back, but the email sounded rather non-committal to me. So I wonder which of my 5 reasons for discontinuation mentioned earlier apply to this scent. I don't know. I can't imagine it not selling. It was super popular for a time on YouTube, particularly with male fragrance reviewers, although it certainly is a unisex scent. It's wonderful. It was a wonderful scent. And why was it so great? Well, first of all, it performed incredibly. Great longevity, great projection, great sillage, and the smell, oh my God, it was neither the most refined nor the most complex scent in my mind, but it was super casual and somewhat linear, but oh my God, the maple syrup with pancakes and coffee delight of an uber gourmand from heaven It was. I could smell myself all day in it without making myself sick, and I got so many compliments on it. I place it in the same vein as Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille or Montal's Incense Cafe. It's a very cuddly, warm, delicious, sweet. It's very heavy, but you can't wear this stuff in summer, but oh my gosh. If I had a bottle in front of me right now, I'd just be in heaven. But alas, no. I searched high and low, and actually I did find a bottle of it in a Japanese online no shop, but the bastards had put a price tag of $1,000 on it. Sorry, I pay a lot for perfume, but not $1,000. The notes were lavender, bergamot, and green leaves. Funny to list those now because I can't recall any of those notes in New Haarlem. But the middle and base notes, yes, there was coffee, cedar, vanilla, patchouli, tonka bean, and amber. Yum! The second discontinued fragrance I love is one that I actually found again, which is Oriens by Van Cleef and Arpels. It's a chypre floral fragrance that was launched in 2010. This is a 30 milliliter bottle, and I chanced upon it in a second-hand shop. And if you think this bottle is gaudy and ostentatious, you should see the full-size bottle. It was basically like this, but it had silver leaves. I'll put an image up here. Yeah. You could also use this bottle to inflict serious damage on your enemy's skull. Not like a thought like that's ever crossed my mind or anything, just saying. It was heavy. There was an aquatic flank or two, but I never got my nose on that. Van Cleef & Arpels is first and foremost a jewelry company, hence the fancy bottles. Bernard Elena was the nose behind the scent, and the notes are raspberry, blackcurrant, mandarin orange, and the top are jasmine and white flowers. No, the middle are jasmine and white flowers. And then at the base there's patchouli, praline, amber, and vanilla. It's quite tasty. Tasty, but also a little bit old-fashioned. A little bit, you know, yeah, oh, it's really beautiful. The scent is mysterious, intoxicating, and somehow a little sad, actually. I don't mean that it's depressing. I mean that it has like this metaphorical drop of sorrow in it to balance out the brightness, because it does have a bright top note. It's like how beautiful Irish music is sad. Does that make any sense? I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's very balanced and well blended. So Oriens bears some semblance, I think, to Miss Dior Cherie, strangely. It's got the same type of fruity patchouliness or fruit-chuli sweetness, but it's creamier and it's more mature. I think this fragrance is elegant, but I remember it being underrated, and I guess that's why it disappeared. And yeah, it doesn't last long, and that's another reason why it might have gone bye-bye. It also reminds me a little bit of Thierry Mugler's Alien. I keep snapping this, sorry, that's probably annoying. It has a similar type of amber. And speaking of Mugler, I was going to mention Angel, but that's been reformulated, not discontinued, so not to be mentioned in this video. God, if this video would be about reformulated fragrances, that will never end today. So we'll stick to the discontinued stuff, and only 3 fragrances. Okay, so the third fragrance I miss is from Annick Goutal. I just did a video of her last week, I think. And since I cannot get it anymore, I assume it's discontinued. The perfume was Myrrhe Ardente. I'll put it here. It was launched in 2007, and the nose behind it is, of course, Isabelle Doyen and Camille Goutal. It was a balmy, sweet myrrhe perfume with amber and benzoin, also playing star roles in the composition. It had some tonka and gaiac wood and a pinch of vetiver, and there was a honey, sweet, syrupy vibe to it that I really liked, and apparently that was due to a beeswax note. So this fragrance was categorized as an incense fragrance, but I don't recall it having any smoky vibe to it. The myrrhe was never on the fire side. But Myrrhe Ardente in general I liked it. Of course, not all scents please all people, but I thought it was a beautifully warm, dry scent that leaned sweet, but it was simply because of the myrrhe, because myrrhe is sweet by nature. It lasted a fair while, but it stayed close to the skin, so it wouldn't offend anybody. I used to buy Myrrhe Ardente from Strawberry Net because they always had free international shipping. It's a good store for that. They don't always have the best prices, but Myrrhe Ardente was always on sale. That should have been a warning. Okay, now there are other, there's tons of other fragrances that have come and gone over the years that I would love to sniff once more, but I'll live without them, I'll be honest. The three I shared with you are perhaps the most recent and ones that I did truly enjoy, especially New Haarlem. If you know where to get this bottle, where to get this scent, please let me know. I'll find a way. Hopefully they'll bring it back. Okay, my lovelies, I will leave you on that note. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to like this video if you did, and kindly subscribe. I'd love to see you here again. Yes, and if you do know where I can get New Haarlem, let me know. Okay, bye nada. Mwah.